This is a presentation I gave to a high school in Nigeria, working with my pal Roland Dapa, who lives in Nigeria. And the idea is to teach young people about careers and what they might want to be when they grow up. One of the things I'd like to improve in the school system is getting young people to understand what they were going to do for the rest of their lives once they graduate high school or college or university, as it's called in other countries. So we came up with this concept of a day in the life. And the first presentation was made by me. I'm a technical salesperson in the information technology profession, and I wanted the young people to understand what role they might play in information technology. So this was the presentation I gave, and there was question and answer period afterwards. The first thing, obviously, is to get a general definition about what is information technology, also known as IT. So we reviewed the various components. Many of these students have been exposed to concepts such as the internet. They may have heard the term database, applications. If they have iPhones now in Nigeria, they may not all have smartphones, but some of them might. I'm sure they've seen a smartphone. So they've learned about mobile applications. They may know what software is. They obviously know what communication is, but it would be better to try to get the concept of communication in the context of information technology. So these were the ideas that they need to be exposed to, and we tried to get across in this presentation. But the focus was to ask them or to get them stimulated into understanding or make the connection between information technology and what goes on in their daily lives. So we started with manufacturing, and I went through the notion of building an automobile or an airplane. And using this picture, we talked about the various components that go into a car, that it's upwards of 1 million pieces that are used to build a car or an airplane. And every one of these pieces has engineering drawings and procedures on how they're used in the building of a car. And information technology plays a very important role in storing that information and delivering it to the individuals and the machines that build cars and airplanes. Healthcare. This is a patient getting treated by an MRI device. Information technology is used in building that device, using it to find out what might be wrong with this patient, and helping to treat that person. Telecommunications. Information technology plays a major role in delivering information. E-learning. I used this graphic to say, this is what we're doing today. You're learning about careers, and you're doing it electronically using the internet. So information technology plays a very big role in education. Hopefully they're familiar with mobile and e-commerce. Many of them may have purchased something on their phone, but they should be aware that using a mobile phone, you can not only learn about goods and services and how to get from one place to another, how to communicate with your friends. That's probably one of the major uses of mobile phones if they have it. But it's also used to run your daily lives, to keep your schedule, to find places to go, places to eat, where to buy things, and to actually buy them. And this is exciting, the space economy. I asked the students if they heard about Elon Musk's launch a week or so ago, and it was both a success and a failure. It was very successful in that this large rocket, the largest booster rocket ever built, was able to transport a payload very high up in the atmosphere. It ended up exploding, but they learned a lot of information that's going to help them launch the space economy itself. And this is going to create opportunity for millions and millions of people worldwide. This was sort of an aside where we talked about the product life cycle. And I wanted them to understand that everything, whether it was a car, an automobile, or a service like a restaurant, starts out with an idea, a concept, and then it gets further developed. So if it's a product, it might be on the back of a napkin or in some computer-aided design software where you flesh out what this product is going to look like. And then it advances to the prototype stage. And this is a model so that investors and even potential users like customers can understand what this product is going to be. And then once you have the details about the product or service and you get investment, then you launch the building of that product and you manufacture it. And you want to build it en masse, or lots and lots of these products and services, and that's called distribution. And then your product or service is being used, and it has to be serviced. So if it's a car, sometimes it's brought in to be repaired, and then there's, for some products and services, there's a recycling, and that feeds in to the concepts of new products. What did we learn from going through that product life cycle for that particular product or service? Now, within a product or service, there are roles. Individuals research what needs to be built. What do consumers want? What are the features that are part of the product? So because it's about careers, young people need to know that they could be a researcher. They could be involved in the early stages of product development or service development. Programmers play a role in the prototype stage, building the product, maybe a model, a 3D model of an actual car. Maybe if it's a service, building a model of a web page, how people interact with an application. Then very early on, there's the role of marketing. And this is doing research, taking a prototype and talking to potential customers or saying, are these the features that you want? Would you buy this product? How much would you pay for it? How would you improve it? Programmers and developers play a role in helping to build the product. And then there's the sales and additional marketing activities that go on once the product is distributed. So they call these salespeople either account executives, salesmen, saleswoman, salesperson. Marketing people develop advertisements to create awareness about the product. And then once the product is out in the field, in the hands of customers, there's usually a customer support group that answers questions. If it's an automobile, they might be repair people. But these are the roles that are people engage in throughout a product lifecycle. Now, the one we're going to talk about is technical sales. This was my particular role. So I'm a person that understands the technology behind the product I'm selling. Today, I sell a database product, and I work with account executives, the salesperson, to find potential customers. And the important part of the job of a technical salesperson is to understand the customer's problems. And you want to focus on their business problem. Are they trying to increase revenue? Are they trying to cut costs? Are they trying to gain market share? And what are the pain points? What's difficult about those goals? And then you decide, does my technology, does my product or service help them achieve their business goals? So that's the thrust, the main goal of my job in working with account executives and talking to potential customers and helping to solve a problem and deliver a solution. So what's a day in the life of a technical salesperson like myself? Well, I do a lot of presenting like I'm doing today. I'll stand in front of a room, or I'll be on a Zoom call like I was delivering this presentation. And rather than jumping into the features of my product, I start talking about the customer's goals. What are your business goals? What are you trying to solve? What are the pain points? What's raising your cost? What's preventing you from increasing your revenue? What's preventing you from having your customers be satisfied, from getting more customer engagement? This is all part of presenting. It's an interaction. It's a collaboration. It's not just telling prospects and customers what your product does. You have to prepare before you make a presentation. So you not only have to know what your product can do, what its features are, but you have to understand the industry of the people you're talking to. So one of the great parts of the job is talking to prospects and customers across various industries, whether it's financial services, manufacturing, energy, retail, education. And you'll never become an expert in all these individual fields, but you don't need to be. And your customer, your prospect, doesn't really want you to be the expert in their field. Now, they like you to have a certain knowledge about what they do, but they are the experts. So you learn from them, and then you try to bring the expertise of your product overlaid onto what they do, and you form a very synergistic relationship with your customers and partners, and you build a trust. And technical salespeople, that's a very, very key aspect of the job, building trust with the prospects and your customers. And that goes to collaborating not only with the people that you work with at your company, but with the prospects and the customers. Again, understanding their problem and seeing if your product or service is a good solution for them. There's traveling in this job. For some technical salespeople, it could be worldwide. I've traveled from the United States to Europe and to Asia. Not a lot, but other colleagues or other people in my field do it extensively. And a very big part of the job, particularly in information technology, is learning. The field is constantly changing. There are new technologies that are being developed on a daily basis, and it's difficult to learn about all of them. But you'll see as you progress in this field that you learn a lot, and it's a very exciting part of the job. So what's the fun of being a technical sales IT professional? Well, again, I mentioned presenting. I really enjoy presenting. I like talking to customers, to prospects. I like presenting to colleagues. I like hearing about presentations. I really enjoy collaborating. When I talk to a customer, it's exciting to learn about an industry, particularly in things like healthcare and manufacturing. I'm very much interested in how things are built and how the things that are common in our lives, things like iPhones and a new way to buy something on the internet, how that comes about. Just looking at the things we use in our daily lives, and this may sound very rudimentary, but you look at a pencil or a mug. How do they get that logo on the mug? And how do they do it in a mass-produced way and do it so that a complex image with very detailed lettering on a mug or a t-shirt, how do they do that and do it in a manufacturing way that they can produce thousands and millions of that particular item and sell it at such a very, very low cost? It's incredible when you think about it. And you could do that for everything you see in life, whether it's an automobile or a television or a building or a food item. These things are brought to us. They're a part of our daily lives, and we sometimes take it for granted. But if you look at what it is that you're consuming, that you're interacting with, you'll grow an appreciation for how humans can collaborate to bring about these wonderful things that are part of our lives. And again, I mentioned learning. I very much like to learn about new technologies and services. But the answer to this question is it's personal. Some people might not like presenting. They may not like collaborating. They might just like learning, or they may like the traveling part. Now, myself, again, what's the not so fun part of being a technical salesperson? Preparing can be difficult. It can be stressful because when you talk to customers, remember, they're the experts. So you go into a room full of people that are experts in their industry. And you have to make sure you don't walk in as if you know more than they do about their business. So it's a bit of humility that you have to take whenever you prepare your presentation. Make sure you're going in as a problem solver, but first you have to understand their problem. You have to relate to them. And then sometimes the features that you have don't apply, but hopefully in most cases what you're trying to sell or get them to adopt is a good synergy. And if you keep that in mind, you'll be successful. Traveling. Now, I have this listed here as the not so fun part, but as I mentioned, it's personal. When I was younger, I really enjoyed the traveling and going to different states within the United States, as well as different countries throughout the world. But as I got older and I had my family, I didn't like the traveling so much. But again, it's personal. Why did I become a technical salesperson? Well, for me, a lot of it was about learning. I was very, very excited about technology. When I got my first computer, it was wonderful turning it on and seeing all the things I could do with it. I really liked learning about software development, programming languages. My first language was Java. Actually, in school, it was Fortran. That's a good scientific programming language. But then as I got into the field, Java, and now I'm learning Python. And a wonderful part of a technical salesperson is the ability to earn a good salary. I won't say I'm wealthy, but I make a good living. And many people that get into the IT profession, they become millionaires, some become billionaires. If they start a company like Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg was a college dropout, so was Bill Gates, and they became some of the richest people in the world. So it's not all about the money, but money is a very big part of the IT profession, and it's a good part of it. The incentive to earn a lot not only makes one's life potentially better, but it also helps enhance the lives of others if you're delivering a good product and a service. So how do you become a technical sales IT professional? Well, I call it the 3 T's. There's lots of training, and it could be university training or just book learning or internet study. You need to learn about the tools of the trade. So there are things like code repositories, project management tools, IDEs, those are development environment for writing code, tools for collaborating with colleagues and customers and prospects. And then it's talking to colleagues in your field, talking to people that have been doing the job for quite some time, talking to educators. So I call it the 3 T's: training, tools, and talking. And there is a lot more for that, but that's a good start to get you into the field. What's next? Now, this was a presentation delivered to the high schoolers in Nigeria, and we're planning on doing more day in the life events. So today it was about a technical salesperson in information technology. Tomorrow it might be from a pharmacist, a doctor, or a lawyer. Now, what I encouraged the students to do was to ask this phrase, or to understand what this phrase means. Does it grow on trees? I don't know if this is an expression that's used throughout the world, but in the United States, or at least where I grew up, people ask the question, things don't grow on trees. And now there are a lot of things that grow on trees, but what it means is many of the things that we have in our lives, and I talked about the cell phones and the food and the houses and the clothes, nature doesn't provide that to you. You can't just go pick it off a tree. Humans have to build these things. They have to collaborate. They have to develop the knowledge that goes into mass producing farming goods, potatoes, starting out with the basics, clothes, housing, shelter, delivering water through those plumbing pipes and into your faucets. And then some of the other things that make our lives wonderful, like nice houses, like cars, like nice clothes, like the phones, like the computers, the medical equipment, the drugs that keep us healthy. These things don't grow on trees. People have to learn how to build them. They have to learn how to collaborate. Most importantly, how to build them in mass production so that they can be delivered to the average person at a low cost. So all the things I just talked about are embodied in the answers to this question, does it grow on trees? And what's next in a person's life? I would recommend, and this is what I recommended to the high school students, be curious about everything. When you pick something up, whether it's a pencil or a laptop or anything that you have in your life, try to understand, how did it get there? What was the product life cycle that it delivered it to my hand? Particularly if you think about things like a smartphone, you'll be amazed at what it does, and you'll be curious about how it came about. So that's a good next step, is to just be curious about everything, and your lives will be better as you learn these things. And it's most important, whatever you do, is to have fun. Learning is a wonderful experience, and it's just will enhance one's life extremely. Now, with all these day in the life events, and what my colleague and I have been doing is we've been running essay contests, and much of the topics, or most of the topics, pertain to capitalism. We firmly believe that capitalism is the best economic system, and we tried to pose the essay contest in terms of capitalistic concepts. So we want to ask this month, this is going to be an essay contest for June, is capitalism the best system for a world with artificial intelligence and intelligent robots? Why or why not? Why is that important today? Well, within the last couple of months, people have heard about something called ChatGPT. This is a chatbot. And it's amazing what it can do, whether it's trying to summarize information in emails or just asking questions about healthcare or entertainment or anything. You can give a question to a chatbot. Generally, these are called prompts. And you might say, you are a computer programmer. Write me a program that will read the emails that I'm going to feed to you, summarize them in bullet fashion, and create a summary that I could deliver to my supervisor. And sure enough, in a matter of seconds, you'll have your answer from this chatbot, and it'll be very, very near complete in what you might want to deliver to your boss. Now, that's one example, but chatbot can also write programs. If you're a Python programmer, you could say, write me a program that takes this information and does some data analytics or aggregations and produces a summary. And sure enough, you'll get an exact program that might be with little or no modification can be run and give you the answers that you were looking for. So artificial intelligence is here. It's becoming a part of our lives more and more. And what we want the students to know is capitalism the best system for making good use of artificial intelligence, making ethical use of artificial intelligence, and for enhancing the lives of people throughout the world? So that's the next contest, and we'll see how the students do. And Rock Me is a theme that my colleague and I have been promoting throughout the students in Nigeria and hopefully someday worldwide. We have big ambitions. And Rock Me stands for Rewards of Capitalism: Knowledge, Morality, and Empowerment. And if you notice, the word morality is in caps, and it's right there in the center of the Rock Me concept. And what it's trying to convey is that capitalism is a good system, a morally good system, and that earning money and profit, if you do it honestly, you're doing a good thing for the world, you're doing a good thing for society, and you're enhancing the lives of individuals and communities worldwide. So we've started Rock Me clubs in Nigeria to get the students involved and understand the concepts of capitalism and to apply it in things like their careers, which they will be embarking on soon after their educational training. And the call to action to the students is to inspire others to become Rock Me stars, to promote the ideas of honest capitalism or capitalism in general, because if you're practicing capitalism the way it should be, then by default you should be honest, you should be good, and you should be empowering. So I want to thank everyone for listening to this presentation, and I hope anyone who listened to it extracted value. And thank you very, very much.